3,000 feet above the city. On a day like this, lots to do up there. They've got the bird show. I'm actually, you have the time. It's definitely, before you leave Vancouver, you should visit Victoria. It's kind of like a staple of anyone who visits Vancouver. So anyone who comes there, as long as they got that one day, that extra day, they actually combine Victoria with a visit to the North Shore. The North Shore is made up of two main municipalities or cities. On the right-hand side, in the distance, you'll see North Vancouver, and right next to you over here on the left-hand side is West Vancouver. West Vancouver on the left-hand side, along with that big cluster of homes on the mountainside. What you're looking at over on that side would be, that's where they buy their homes up on that mountainside there. So that little chunk of that district or that neighborhood is actually called British Properties. And British Properties is literally
of southwestern British Columbia.
Lumberjacks ready. 1, 2, go! Cheer on your lumberjacks! They got their first bolt in. They're out working on their second notch. And he's right behind.
Right. Yeah, it was a good way to get around.
Is covered with a layer of gases called the atmosphere to keep us comfortable. When we use certain types of fuels such as coal, oil, or natural gas, it produces carbon dioxide. And when that's added to the atmosphere, it's like covering the planet with a blanket, keeping the heat in, changing the environment, and nowhere but it's not always strong. Another challenge that Anthony's balloons face in the wintertime comes when darkness covers the landscape for up to 24 hours at a time. Because of this darkness, belugas rely on sound. They use sound to communicate, to socialize with each other. The cold Arctic. Now, with that very, very large blubber-covered body and a pretty small tail, belugas are definitely not the fastest swimmers around. But their tail is very powerful, allowing them to push themselves up and out of the water at times. If you keep an eye on the belugas, wow! Great job by Akila. I think that deserves...
Mostly size and swimming upside down.
Pacific Ocean. And the animals that we have here were actually found on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, and they were found wrapped up and entangled in fishing nets. They are what are known as rescued and rehabilitated animals. Rescued because, well, obviously they're not in fishing nets anymore. Rehabilitated because they seem to be fine. And then the third part of that, non-releasable, is another rather interesting question because the answer to that one. Usually with marine mammals, if they're in human care for more than about 6 months, there's different regulatory bodies that say these animals are a little bit too used to people. Chances are they're going to be coming up to people looking for food, looking for attention, and then they become a danger to themselves and to marine traffic. And so small whales and dolphins end up, unfortunately, losing its eyes from these neighbors is just a seawall. And so certainly as people visit the aquarium, as we visit Stanley Park, it's important to remember that yes, our garbage even here in the park ends up where it's supposed to, and not in the water with these guys, because yeah, some unfortunate things can happen. However, it's not ended for the way that gets carried out. Well, these animals are amazing. How can we make sure that yes, they are safe? As much as we can. Well, there's a lot of training that actually goes into making sure that yes, we are able to utilize these animals in our message. There's a whistle. And that signal to the animal is that, all right, I've done what I'm supposed to do properly, and now it's time to be rewarded. It's a system of training known as operant conditioning, or essentially positive reinforcement. And the idea is that these animals do what we ask them to because we feed them. Yes, we do feed them. We do know about how they are affected by marine debris. Well, it's certainly something that we can work into our programs and we educate the people that come through the doors here at the aquarium and yeah, get to know about our neighbors and how it is that we can protect them. And every now and again, cameo appearances by Steven Seagal. another neighbor of ours. Very well appreciated.
All right. Well, there we go. Manway's landed very close to you folks at the top, so you got a lovely view. That was pretty good. Let's give Manway a round of applause. He had his own.
Doesn't always look like this, so bald eagles don't get their white heads and tails till they're about 5 or 6 years of age. It's actually a sign of maturity. So bald eagles, they don't actually go bald until they're older, much like people do. So 70 to 80% of because we use the pesticide DDT. Now DDT accumulated in top predators, things like bald eagles. And what happened is it actually caused their eggshells to thin. So when the bald eagles went to incubate their eggs, they would crush them. A lot of birds didn't hatch out during these last 10 years or so. But we have banned DDT, and since then these guys have done a fabulous job at recovering their fat round of applause. He's done a super job at making the wild eagles here. Be able to get in there and get their food, because they never know when their next meal is going to be. And these birds find their next meal, of course, by looking for it, but by more importantly smelling for it. Turkey vultures are one of the very few vulture species, I think 2 in the world, that have a fantastic sense of smell. If he flies by you, have a look at his head. You might notice he's got a giant hole through the top of it. This is one giant nostril. And it allows the turkey vulture to smell dead, decaying, rotting flesh up to 4 kilometers away. Pretty impressive, actually. And of course, the way they get around is they fly, they soar, they look around. He's got beautiful broad wings which catch the wind, which is happening today. And they rise on thermals.
To be